Yeah, we certainly got a warm stretch of weather coming here. If you're figuring out when the last 80-degree day is for La Crosse, well, it doesn't really happen until November 1st. So we can see 80s throughout October. It gets less likely. The records are now getting into that time frame when they're in the upper 80s, near 90 for La Crosse. Now for Eau Claire, it's a little bit different of a story. It's a little bit earlier, but still they've seen a record all the way through the end of October too to see 80 degrees. And their records now are kind of mainly in the mid to upper 80s now. As you see, 90 pretty much has passed here. So let's give you an idea. We still could see some warm conditions all the way through October, but it gets less frequently as we go throughout. Now for this evening, absolutely fantastic conditions down at Oktoberfest. We're only getting back down to about 62 at 1 a.m. So it's going to be milder than we had last night, given that the winds are going to be a little bit out of the south. That front that kind of came through, the only thing with that front that it did was just change the wind direction enough to give you a temperature change. But tonight it's actually going to come back north. So what it's going to do is kind of turn the winds around, but we are seeing the potential maybe for some low cloud, maybe some fog type issues if you're long and east of I-94. That's something to keep an eye on as the winds turn around. The cold front that you see in there going through Minneapolis by 5 a.m., that's going to be a feature tomorrow. But meanwhile, this setup's going to be a little bit milder, more mid to upper 50s, and we had low to mid 50s this morning. Now tomorrow it'll start off with, we'll have to keep an eye on that low cloud, but right now it seems to be just east of the area. By the time you get about mid-morning, that cold front will be coming through, and the only difference that's going to make is a wind change really from the west all the way to the northwest. That'll swing through during the afternoon time frame. That's going to pick up the winds a little bit, maybe a degree or two cooler tomorrow, but that's really the only difference you're going to note with that front that eventually exits the area by the evening. For temperatures for tomorrow, a little cooler for some areas, maybe not as many hitting that 80-degree mark, especially as you go further north, and with that northwest wind in the afternoon, it'll make it feel a little bit less warm too. Very nice. For the Maple Leaf Parade, you can see the wind change right there. Start off in the mid-60s. There might be a little bit of low clouds before that. We'll get up to 77 by noon, but the wind will start turning around. You can see picking up about 1 p.m. at about 10 miles per hour. Otherwise that. Now for the evening, the bigger difference going for Saturday evening instead of Friday evening is the temperatures are going to drop off quite quickly once the sun sets. And by midnight, we're already in the mid-50s behind that front. So it will be cooler tomorrow evening, especially in the evening hour with that northwest wind. And as you wake up then for Sunday, it's going to be a noticeable temp difference. So Sunday's highs more mid-70s, but the overnight lows are going to be a bigger difference. You'll probably wake up in the 40s going into Sunday, so it will be a little bit cooler. Now Monday, mid-80s potentially. The records these days for like La Crosse is about 87, about the same for Eau Claire. So not record, but it's definitely going to be a very warm start to the work week. And that really goes throughout the 8-day forecast, since we're going to be in the mid-80s potentially to about Tuesday, low 80s, excuse me. And then we'll start kind of tailing off towards the end of next week. But even as we get to 74 by Saturday, that's still about 4 to 5 degrees above average for this time of year. And that rain chance is very iffy right now at best for Saturday too. So it's a dry, warm stretch, and it looks like we'll stay above average potentially through the second week of October, which our average by then should be the mid to upper 60s. So enjoy it, because you know it's going to flip eventually in October.
I know we're above average right now, but I have some Texans in town for Oktoberfest, and this is a bit of a cool down for them.
Well, especially
so
for the humidity levels too.
Oh yeah, no humidity here. We're good and dry.